Hi guys, good evening. So we are celebrating the International Desserts Week at the APCA India right now, and today is the third session and I'm going to be teaching you how to make a banoffee pie, a very simple, no bake, easy to find ingredients from the market banoffee pie. My name is Janvi. I'm an alumni from the Academy of Pastry Arts. I completed my 9 months training advanced diploma just last year from the Bangalore Academy. Now the Academy also offers a 6 months diploma and weekend classes if you guys want to check it out. You can reach out to the Academy or you can also check out their official website on Google. Now I'm sure you guys will have a lot of questions about the recipe. I would appreciate it if you guys keep it till the end so that I can give you my full attention and answer the questions. So now let's talk a little about the banoffee pie. Now a banoffee is an amalgamation of the words banana and toffee, two words. Now this pie is traditionally made up of a pastry base or a crumbled biscuit base, which we are using. It has a caramel which is also known as the dulce de leche, which is made up of condensed milk, butter and sugar. You then add slices of banana on top and top it with whipped cream. Now this is how the traditional pie is made. Now I have only taken half of the recipe which is mentioned in the recipe card because I'm using a smaller pie plate. If you're using a 9-inch pie plate, then the measurements which are given to you in the recipe card are perfect. So you can make variations according to your requirement. Now I'm going to quickly dive in to the recipe because when we make the caramel, we are going to have a lot of time to talk about the history and everything else about the pie. So I'll show you the pie plate I showed you. I'm using this pie plate. It's a metal pie plate. It's okay if you don't have a pie plate. You can always use, now you do get this size lunch boxes. So you can use this plate or you can just use a basic cake mold. Just that when you put the biscuit base, just don't fill it all the way to the top. Just fill it maybe to like 1/4 of the tin. Alright. So let's start off with the base. I'm going to show you what all ingredients I have. I have McVitie's digestive biscuits, 125 grams, which is about 15 biscuits. In case you don't have a measuring scale, then I have 50 grams of castor sugar. Now, if you don't have castor sugar and you only have granulated sugar, what you can do is you can quickly grind the granulated sugar and get it to this fine consistency of particles. Because if you use your granulated sugar, it's going to break your pie crust after it's frozen because the particles are too big. What you actually want is for the sugar and butter to combine and hold the pie crust together. Now I also have 62.5 grams of melted butter. It's just melted, it's not hot. Now it's advisable to use salted butter because the caramel is going to be sweet. So you want something to balance the flavors. So yeah, these three. I'm going to take a bowl, quickly add in the biscuit base. So it's always good to make a little extra because you don't want to be running out of, crushed biscuit when you're actually setting the pie. Now I'm going to add in the sugar and goes the butter. Now I am using unsalted butter because I couldn't find salted butter. So I had already added a pinch of salt to the sugar I had kept ready. Now you can see, just mix it well. Let your butter coat all the biscuit particles very well because when you put it in a pie plate, you want it to hold its shape, which is why we add butter as a glue. Alright. Now as you can see, the butter is almost coating everything. Just quickly mix it a little more. Okay, so this is done. I'm just going to keep it aside. And the greasing. Now this plate, you need to grease it with oil and not butter, because this is, we are going to freeze the base. If you apply butter and you put it in the freezer, you're not going to be able to take the crust off the plate, which is going to be very bad because the crust is completely going to crumble. And that's why I'm going to be using oil, because oil does not freeze. That's why. Just quickly dip it. And I'm going to grease it. Be generous, because you want your pie to come off very clean. Make sure you get the sides as well. It's okay if there's a little extra oil, because your biscuit base is anyway going to absorb the oil, and more oil or butter, the better the pie crust is going to hold. So don't worry. Now it's almost done. Now I'm going to put the biscuit base into this. Just make sure you get an even coating everywhere. So just take your spatula and move it around. Get a flat coating. Then since we need some crust for the sides as well, just take some and start putting a little more on the sides, so that when you start pressing it down, the crust on the center is not going to become thin. You want an even layer everywhere, so that when you, even if you hold the pie in your hand, it will not break. Obviously it's advisable not to do that, but yes. So, and the key to this is always add in a little extra, so that it's easier to take it off, take off the extra, than to try and add more and more on top of it. So I'm just going to add a little extra to the sides, because I want the layer to be nice and thick. I want my caramel to hold inside. Yeah, so as you can see, this is even. I'm going to push this to the sides. You can see I'm pushing more to the side. So this is not how you're going to press it. I'm just evening it out before I start pressing it down. So this is the most important step, because if you don't get this right, your whole pie is going to fall apart. So get everything. So as you can see, the center is flattened out. The sides are there. Now I'm going to use a flat bottom bowl. You can also use a glass, anything which is flat basically, and helps you to press down with even pressure. You can use a spoon, but again, it's better to use this because there's more surface area, and you can use it well. So start pressing from the center, and then move to the sides, because you want an even coating. So start from the center and start pressing and rotating your pie plate. So you can see it's becoming flatter, and there's more mixture moving to the sides. So that's what we want. Don't worry about these extras, because we are going to take it off when it's ready to go in the freezer. Just get it nice and flat. Now if you feel the center is a little thin, please go ahead and add a little more just in the center, and you can always press it down. Make sure you're applying pressure straight and don't displace the mixture as you move. Press evenly. Now you can see there's some mixture which is falling off, but don't worry. and don't get overexcited and keep pressing that you don't even know when your pie crust at the bottom becomes very thin. So you can see these edges here. I'm trying to get the edges as sharp as possible so that when the pie is demolded, it holds a good shape. So in the corners, just press into the corners. Okay, so this is nicely, you can see, it's nicely pressed. Now there's extras here. So what you can do is just take a knife, take the bowl and take the back of the knife. You don't want to be spoiling your knife. So just take the back part of it and just slide the extras. So this is how we learned how to make tart shells in academy, and we got grilled for it because we used to land up using the front of the knife and not the back. Okay, I'm gonna continue pressing the side a little. Equal pressure everywhere. Okay, so now you can, the top, just move the bowl on top, let the extras fall off. Don't worry, it's going to be a little messy because it's crumble. Now you can see this pie plate is clean, and you can see the edges. I've pushed it as far as I can so that when the pie crust is demolded, it's going to have a nice shape of the pie plate. Now this, you have to ideally put it in the freezer for at least 3 to 4 hours. So what you can do is, after 2 hours, just take it out of the freezer, just twist the plate a little and see if it's demolding, because doing it at that stage is better than doing it at the end when you already added all your components. So I'm going to put this in the freezer, and next we're going to continue with the caramel. Okay guys, now I'm going to start with the caramel, and just quickly plugging this in. We don't require this biscuit base for now, so keep it here. Now you can see I've already taken 200 grams of the condensed milk directly in the saucepan. I have used Nestle Milkmaid. You can use any brand that you like. There's Amul, there's Nestle, but I found this, so I got this. There's 50 grams of sugar, there's 50 grams of butter. Now the butter, you don't need to melt it. Just make sure it's not frozen when you put it in. Just make sure all your ingredients are at the same temperature, because it speeds up the cooking process. Now I'm going to give this caramel a slight twist, and I'm going to add sea salt to it at the end. Now this was something I learned at the academy when we were doing when we were learning how to make macaroons. I used to personally hate caramel, but when I tried out this version of sea salt caramel, it completely changed my perception of caramel. Now, okay. So this mixture is going to take about 12 minutes to cook, and for the first 4 minutes I'm going to keep it at a low temperature, and after 4 minutes I'm going to increase it a little more. So now here I'm using an induction. So induction is, I would say, a little better for pastry, is because as you can see this is a flat bottom, and it makes sure that the heat is distributed equally in the pan, and it helps me control the temperature of the caramel while I'm making it. Also it's a lot less messier. Now if you are still, it's okay if you don't have an induction. If you're using it on the direct flame, what you can do is use a wider pan. and in a direct flame, the center of the pan will get very hot. So stir continuously, keep stirring continuously, and make sure that the condensed milk doesn't burn. So here, let's add in the sugar. There's no temperature as such at which you have to add these things, so it's totally okay. And there's the butter. So the sea salt goes in at the end, not now, because you want the flavor to be a lot more.
How much?
You want it to be a lot more, prominent. So I've taken 50 grams of butter and 50 grams of castor sugar. Like I mentioned, I've just taken half of the recipe which was there in the recipe card because my pie plate is smaller. So you can see that the butter is starting to melt here. You don't need to stir it continuously, but just give it a quick mix so that all the 3 ingredients combine. You don't need a whisk here because you don't need to agitate anything. So you can just use a spatula and mix it. So this is going to take a long time. So I think we can talk about the history of the pie. It's around 516, I think. And for 4 minutes, we are just going to leave it at a lower temperature, which is 600. And so this caramel is traditionally a toffee caramel, which is known as a dulce de leche. The dulce meaning sweet, de leche meaning of milk. So the literal translation of dulce de leche is sweet of milk. Now this same toffee caramel is used to flavor a lot of cookies, candies, cakes, and a lot of other things. Actually, this is used as a spread for crepes and toast, and trust me, it's really good. So this is almost similar to how your eclairs, the ones which you buy outside, the 1 rupee toffee, is made. That's why it's called a toffee caramel. Now, see, the butter is completely melted. So the sea salt goes in at the end. You're not going to add it now. Now let's talk about the history of this pie. Now this pie is a British origin and not an American origin as it's normally confused to be. Sorry, just a second. Yeah. So it's British, like I mentioned. It's not American. It was invented, or rather it was made for the first time at the Hungry Monk restaurant in Southeast England. So the owner, his name was Nigel McKinsey, and the chef Ian Dowding. They were trying out variations of an American pie, which is the Blum's Coffee Toffee pie, which is why it's commonly confused to be an American pie, but it was introduced by the British. So they were trying out variations of this recipe, and they tried it with apples, they tried it with oranges, but nothing quite worked out as well as bananas. So when they tried this recipe with banana, it was mind-blowing, and that's why Ian McKinsey named it the banoffee pie. Now the first time this recipe was published in the book called The Deep Secrets of the Hungry Monk.
Time.
So it takes about 12 minutes. Just 1 more minute, and I'm going to increase the temperature a little. So you can see you can see how flowy it is, right? So you want, and it's also a very light golden brown. We want the pie to the caramel to get a little more brown, and you want it to hold shape when you move it along like this. All right. So now going back to the history. So just 1 second. So like I was saying about the history, now this dish became, I'm just gonna increase the temperature a little. So this recipe became so popular when it was introduced that it was difficult for the Hungry Monk restaurant to actually take it off their menu, and that's how it became this famous. Now, because of the popularity of this banoffee pie, the word was the combination of banana and caramel is so ultimate. Now, if you might have gone camping, you would have tried poking chocolates into bananas and roasting it on the campfire. That's how popular this banoffee pie became, and that is why the name banoffee got introduced into the English dictionary, and it is used to describe anything that smells or tastes like a banana and caramel. So you can see it's become a little more thicker, but still not as thick as we would like it to be. So I'm just going to quickly mix it. Now if you feel that you're not able to control the temperature, you can always reduce it and cook it. This is a slow cooking process, so don't try to hurry it, because this is again the second important element of the pie. So you can see from the beginning the color has changed a little. It's become a little more golden brown, and you can see the mixture has started to leave the pan and it's become a little more thicker. Now we want to still stir it a little more. So I'll keep stirring it. I'm going to reduce the temperature a little more. Keep mixing it, keep stirring it, because you don't want the condensed milk to burn. You want a caramel, not a burnt caramel. So you can see when I mix it, it completely moves. It moves while I am stirring. Now I'm going to quickly keep this. So I'm keeping this plate here to keep this pan on top of it so that the cooling process is faster. I think 3 more minutes and you should be good to go. Now as you can see, it's pretty thick from what we started. Now some condensed milk won't give you a good brown color of a caramel which we normally get when you make it out of sugar. So don't worry, it's okay, just get it to this thick consistency. Make sure you get everything off the pan, you don't want the sides burning. I think 2 more minutes and we should be good to go. So this caramel is best eaten when it's warm, because when you completely cool it down, it becomes a hard toffee, and obviously you can't consume a hot caramel. So it's better to put it in the crust while it's warm, so that your pie doesn't become very soggy and nor does it become rock hard like a toffee. Okay, that was... Okay, just 1 second. I think 1 more minute. You can see the butter is starting to leave. Okay, it's almost done. I'm going to stop and keep it here. I'm going to add a nice amount of sea salt and quickly mix it. So you can see it's... Don't worry about the butter separating from the mixture. It's alright, just keep mixing it. It's gonna be very hot, so please be very careful. I'm gonna quickly... You need to wait till this mixture cools down. Not completely, but partially. So keep mixing it. Again, don't worry about the butter
How much
getting So sea salt you can add according to your taste, however you like it, but begin with 1 pinch. Trust me, you will actually need 2 to 3 pinches to get a good taste. There's no measurement as such. Just taste it, add it, taste it. If you need more, go on, add it. It's totally fine because it doesn't alter the caramel in any way. It just gives a good flavor. Now this is, you can see it's hardening up. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to get my pie crust out quickly. So just quickly cleaning the place up a little. Okay. Okay. So like you can see, it's cooled down quite a bit. There's no steam. Just a little more. So the reason I've kept a metal plate, you can obviously transfer it to another bowl and quickly mix it to cool it down. But I'm just keeping it very simple and I've kept it on a metal plate. Now you can see this is not the one I showed you right now, but I had already frozen this earlier, and this is about I froze it around 1 o'clock, and it's been a good 4.5 to 5 hours, and you can see that it's starting to, if I just bend it, it's leaving the plate. Now that's how you want your pie crust to come off. You don't want it to stick, otherwise it's going to be really messy. Now yes, now it's a good time to start pouring this. Now let's see. Yes, I think ready to pour it in. So you don't need to add the complete thing inside. Just see that it fills 1/4 of this pan, because you still have bananas and cream coming on top of it. So I'm going to quickly pour in the caramel. Now you can see how nice and warm and yummy it looks. I feel like eating it already. So just quickly spread it. Use a spoon if required. Just move it around. So just about 1/4. Now I'm just going to take a spoon and smoothen it out.
Silicone based plate?
No. This is a metal plate. You can use a silicone plate. Definitely you can use a silicone plate. But silicone, when you're using it, make sure you don't, hold it in such a way that your entire pie crumbles. Definitely you can use anything. Like I told you, you can also use those lunch boxes or your normal cake molds if you like. Now you can see I have nicely spread it to all the corners. It looks rich, it looks yum. Yes, it looks smooth, so you can stop, otherwise it's always fun to keep moving it. Okay, so now we're going to start decorating our pie. But the main element, of course, the bananas. I have cut about 2 bananas into 1 centimeter thick slices. Now this is, yesterday when I tried out the recipe, I froze some of the caramel toffee. So this is the kind of consistency you will get when you freeze it. That's why it's called a toffee caramel. I've just cut out a few cubes to decorate it, and I've also already I have chopped the chocolate. I have only used the normal chocolates available outside. It's Boneville rich cocoa and the whipped cream. I've already kept it ready to speed up our process. So now let's start with placing the bananas. Place them evenly so that you get each banana in a mouthful every time you take a spoonful of it. Now Academy is basically so when we started doing these live classes, a lot of you wanted to know eggless variations of a lot of recipes that we did online, which is why Academy is organizing 1 month certificate program on eggless desserts. So it's going to be online, obviously, so you don't need to go anywhere, which is why it's totally safe. And the registrations are opening tomorrow. So if you are interested, please look at all the stories that APCA posts, and if you want details about any other courses or full-time courses, you can always go to the main page of APCA, or you can check out Google. So you can see I have nicely placed the bananas like this. Now what I'm going to do is, now it's time for the whipping cream. So traditionally how it used to be put is you just take a dollop, you put it on top, smoothen it out. That's what we are going to do. But in case you want to make it a little more better looking, what you can do is you can take a piping bag, pipe rosettes, or you can just pipe teardrops. It's your wish. Just make sure you add the cream. Now the role of the cream here is, when you look at this pie, there's a lot of sweetness at this stage. Now this, what this cream does is, it cuts through that sweetness when you eat it, which is why we use unsweetened whipping cream. Dairy, non-dairy, it's totally your choice, it's fine. Just make sure you don't use the whipping cream out of those pressurized cans which we see in movies, because that has a lot of sugar in it. So just taking a nice dollop, putting it on top. Don't worry about it looking messy, nothing. Trust me, the taste is worth it. Now while we are doing this, so the caramel that we made, traditionally the way it was made was, they used to take milk and sugar in a pan, and they used to continuously simmer and stir it for about a long time till most of the water from your milk evaporated, and it left a very thick consistency caramel. So when they did that, the resulting product was almost less than half of what the amount they started with.
How did you fulfill so much?
Okay, so the cream, I just took about 100 grams in a bowl, and I used a hand beater to beat it. Very simple. Hand beater, Morphy Richards, whichever you have, just beat it nicely. And the consistency to which I got it was stiff peaks. Now what you mean by stiff peaks is, see, if I take a back of the spoon and I dip it in and I take it out, it holds the shape. It's supposed to hold the shape when you take it out. That's called a stiff peak. Now the reason we take it to a stiff peak is because it won't flow out, which is exactly what you want. So put a good amount, evenly spread it everywhere. So yeah, I was talking about how the caramel was made. So that was one way of making it. Okay, so there's chocolate here. I've just chopped it. You can use whatever chocolate is available. I have taken Boneville rich cocoa chocolate. It's a little bitter, which is why I like it. It adds and cuts through the extra sweetness of this pie. So what we are going to do is We are just gonna sprinkle it nicely. You see how pretty that looks.
Which branded cream?
I have used Rich's whipping cream. It's easily available. I bought it from the Metro. I also got a good price for it. But you also get other brands of whipping cream in the market. So you can, I have used Rich's whipping cream. Now you can see it looks pretty. And so these are the toffee cubes. Just gonna add a few here and there. Oops, I'm adding some chocolate.
Substitute mask.
Guys, just give me a few minutes. I'll answer all your questions once I'm done. Just keep a few here and there, and that's it. So now you have a beautiful, easy banoffee pie. So few things to remember about this pie is that first of all, pie crust, don't completely freeze it. The caramel, what you have to do is you need to cool it down and cool it down slightly. Basically, it has to be warm when you pour it in.
Demold.
The whipping cream is going to be, it has to be at stiff peaks, and you can pipe it however you like. Crushed chocolate, or you want to drizzle some hot, syrup, chocolate syrup, and you can decorate it however you like. So it's time to cut it.
Can you show demolding of pie?
Yes, I'm going to show you how to demold it. We are going to first cut. Okay, so remember, use a sharp knife. This part is a little tricky, obviously, which is why now we have the false bottom pans. But I couldn't find one, so I had to use this. But it's totally okay as long as you grease the plate properly. It's gonna be fine. So use a sharp knife. Apply an appropriate amount of pressure, and it's gonna be fine.
Refrigerator after making.
I'll come to the storage, guys. Just give me 2 minutes. Now you can see it's nicely getting cut. So you cannot demold this pie as a whole, which is why what you're going to do is you're going to cut a slice. It is going to be a messy affair, so don't worry. Now take an offset palette knife, something which is curved, so that it's easier for you to get in and take a slice out. Now, as you can see, the nice layers of this one. There's caramel. I'm going to quickly put it on a plate here. Just 1 second. Okay. So you can see the different layers. Sorry, I've put whipping cream everywhere. But there is the crust. There is the caramel. There is the bananas, the cream, and of course the topping. So this is how it is. Now if you feel like your pie crust is not coming off easily, what you can do is just pop it in the freezer for a minute. Not more than a minute, just a minute, because you don't want your caramel to become a toffee there.
Toffee cube.
You don't want it to become a toffee. So now I'll talk a little about the storage of this pie. So it's advisable not to store it, because first of all, when you put it back in the freezer, your caramel is going to freeze and it's going to become a toffee. So when you eat it, it's not going to taste as good as a warm caramel with the bananas and cream. So it's always advisable to make it fresh. Now the only thing that you can pre-make in this is the crust, and you can put it in the freezer. But other than that, please do not pre-make anything. And there's nothing like a freshly baked pie, even though this is not baked. But everything fresh is the best way to consume it. Now, so I'll come to the questions. If you guys have any questions, you can start asking me. Just a second. So hi guys, okay, so I'm going to tell you about, this is already eggless, so you don't need a replacement for egg in this. If you want to make it vegan, it's not possible because we are using a lot of dairy products and there is no replacement for condensed milk in this recipe. You can definitely make it gluten-free by using gluten-free cookies or crackers for the base. After putting caramel, no need to freeze. No, you don't need to freeze it because when you freeze it, it's going to become a toffee. You don't want a toffee. You want the caramel to be nice, warm and yummy. So guys, questions. You guys have any questions, you can ask me right now. Till then, I'm going to again stress on 3 points about this pie. First thing, your crust has to be frozen solid before you add the caramel. The caramel has to be warm when you add it, not hot, not cold. And third thing is that when you add cream, okay, just a second, what is the need for the extra portion of sugar in the biscuit base? It combines with the sugar, it combines with the butter and it gives a nice binding to the crust. That is why we add the caramel. Other method for making caramel, so trust me, this is the easiest way to make it because the previous method which was used to make this caramel was they used an unopened can of condensed milk and they pressure cooked it for 2 to 3 hours, which was very dangerous, which is why this is the most simplest way of making a caramel. There is no other way. How long can we keep it in room temperature? So room temperature, you can keep it for about an hour and a half because then the bananas obviously are going to start getting spoiled. So 1 hour. Can we not add sugar in the caramel? It's better if you add it because it gives a good taste, but if you feel it's too much, then you can skip it or add a smaller portion of it. Alright. How do you take up the pie from the cake mold? Like I said, cut out a slice, use an offset palette knife and slide in 2 palette knives and you can take it out. But obviously it's a lot less messier when you use a false bottom pie plate. If we don't want to make a pie just a dessert so the crumble becomes hard sometimes, so we add a little milk. Not really. Milk will, so the there's a reason that there are various textures in a pie. There's crumble, there is a nice caramel which is a sauce, there is a nice fleshy banana, there is whipping cream. So if like that's what makes a dessert a whole. Can we heat it in the microwave before serving without putting the cream over it? Yes, you can, but just remember that when you do that, the butter in the crust is also going to melt a little, which is going to make your crumble which is going to make your crust a little more prone to breaking. So chef, can you tell me a substitute for mascarpone cheese? We did not use mascarpone cheese here. This is just a normal whipping cream. How these toffees are made? Yes, the eclairs and everything that you get outside is made in this way. If we are making the caramel in the flame, then how? Oh yes, then how much do we have to keep heating it? So there is no specific time to what we have to heat this caramel to. What you have to do is you need to see for the thickened texture and you need to see for that nice slight golden brown color. That's how you know that your caramel is done. Substitute for eggs. We did not use eggs in this recipe anywhere. It's an eggless pie, so there is no substitute. How to store this? First of all, like I said, advisable not to store it because it's best freshly consumed. The caramel is nice, warm, so please eat it fresh. Brownie batter, toffee cubes. Yeah, definitely you can use it in your brownie. You can make anything. You can use this caramel for anything. You can layer your crepes as a nice topping. You can use it on, you can spread it on toast, crepe, pancake, anything you like. How did I cube the caramel? So I used the same pie plate that I was using. I poured the caramel into it and I froze it and I cut it into cubes. Thank you guys. Love the recipe. I'm glad. What is sea salt? It's salt. It's just a different variation of salt. We have a lot of salts. Substitute for digestive biscuits. You can use crackers. You can use any kind of biscuit, which is any biscuit. So anything. which brand of beater I use. I'm using a Morphy Richards beater. I'm glad, guys. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. If you have any more questions, you can reach out to the academy, or you can reach out to me on my Instagram for anything. Also stressing on the part that there is an eggless session happening, eggless certificate course happening for 1 month, which is the registrations are going to start opening from tomorrow. So please look out at all the stories of APCA, and thanks a lot. I had a lot of fun teaching you guys. Keep watching all the deserts on APCA and make your lockdown a little less crazy. So stay home, stay safe, have a great time. Bye, guys. I'll just show you my Instagram handle in case you guys want to reach out to me for anything. There's also the Instagram handle of my business page. So there's a quick question here. Can we use ghee as a substitute for butter? Yeah, go ahead. It's just another fat. Anything fat is good. Alright, bye guys. I'll just show you my Instagram handle quickly. Thank you for watching, guys. Please feel free to reach out.